The year is 2100. In a retirement community, a resident peers out the window. He and many others will commemorate their 115th birthdays this year. He recalls a time before science stopped progressing. Also slowed down aging. News regarding anti-aging vitamins, stem cell therapies, and cloned sheep spread. Then the initial anti-aging medications were developed. The aging revolution resulted from what started out as a few curious scientists. Then, in the present, scientists have successfully. The experiments that showed how we can slow down the aging process may also show us how to extend different animals' lives. So how does it function? Today, we'll look at how aging might be stopped. Our current tale starts in 1974. Researchers have captured a strange phenomena in the lab. Cells cultivated in a petri dish only appear to divide for a short period of time. Cellular. They finally run out of cells and pass away. There appeared to be a process that caused cells to age. Scientists have figured out what are now known as the signs of aging over time. For decades, our cells must remain in our bodies, where they may sustain damage. In particular, UV light and certain compounds can be present in our skin cells, causing DNA damage and long-term alterations. We refer to these long-lasting DNA alterations. Depending on the location of the mutation, sometimes the cell could be in perfect condition. However, it's possible for genes necessary for survival to mutate, which would result in cell death. Occasionally, mutations. Cells' characteristics could change as a result, making them more likely to develop cancer. Some mutations invalidate crucial. As we age, we lose genes, which causes our cells to function less and less. And while this is one of the telltale signs of aging, there are other signs as well. Exposure to radiation or certain substances. Cells' attempts to divide into new cells can also result in mutations. To us, this is. Cell division is a phenomenon that requires a cell to duplicate its DNA in order for both cells to receive all the genes they require. However, DNA duplication is not a faultless process and results in a few errors or permanent mutations. The more frequently cells age. Through cell division, they can acquire more mutations as they produce more new cells. Not only that, but it also causes telomere attrition, another sign of aging. There are telomeres. They are located at the ends of chromosomes and are crucial for maintaining chromosomal integrity. When a cell divides, additional cells are created. A cell is harmed when the telomeres are too short and perish. So, this is how aging contaminates our DNA. But wait, there's more. As we age, our mitochondria also quit working. The mitochondria, sometimes referred to as the cell's powerhouse in science, are essential for supplying our bodies with energy. Some quality checks are present in. Our mitochondria are kept functional and intact by our cells. As humans age, these quality checks become less effective, which makes it more difficult for mitochondria to carry out their functions. Because mitochondria no longer function as they should, a cell's general metabolism has changed, creating a whole new set of problems. You can therefore conclude that aging is undesirable. And we are all experiencing this right now. Sorry, dudes. Okay, let's change the music. Back and neck ache are the first symptoms. Then the first gray hairs on our heads started to show. We become less active physically and grow addicted to board games. Our bodies are less regenerated and grow more brittle as we lose more and more cells to mutations and damaged mitochondria. Dropping and dripping? Previously, it was not a problem, however we might break our bones quickly and have a decreased probability of healing. The cells in our body that are left then start to operate less and less. That also applies to our immune system. Have a cold? If you're Michael Jordan in your peak, it's not a problem. You're older, what? I regret to inform you of this. Today's narrative also starts in the 1940s. Conrad Waddington, a scientist, was strolling around Cambridge, England's town centre. Waddington enrolled at Cambridge University with a single question in mind. How can a small number of cells grow into an entire organism? You can see every cell. Our body's cells are descended from a pair of identical embryonic stem cells. The embryo's stem cells. They are discovered early in development and can specialize to become skin, brain, or muscle cells. Waddington questioned how embryonic stem cells become adult cells. He studied cells and developed a model known as Waddington's landscape. Waddington thought it appeared Embryonic stem cells can differentiate into a variety of cells, regardless of the process. However, there is no going back once they have made their choice. A skin cell is a skin cell forever, right? It took a long time for scientists to understand how Waddington's landscape functions. Despite having almost identical DNA, not all of the cells in our body have the same active gene sets. Embryonic stem cells have stem cell genes activated early in development while other genes are inactive. For instance, when an embryonic stem cell decides to develop into a muscle cell, it must deactivate its stem cell genes and activate the genes that are particular to muscles. Additionally, epigenetics regulates the function of genes. The term epigenetic refers to biological processes that alter DNA or the histone proteins that surround DNA. In actuality, it's more complicated and there are more layers of epigenetic regulation, but for now, we'll only focus on DNA methylation and histone alterations. When an embryonic stem cell is trying to develop into a muscle, it can activate genes that are particular to that muscle by removing DNA methylation marks and adding or deleting certain histone modifications. The stem cells alters histone modifications and DNA methylation. Muscle cells develop from stem cells over time. Epigenetics plays a crucial role in a stem cell's decision-making process in addition to this. Another negative is becoming older. As we've already seen, mitochondria. If we lose the genes necessary for its continued existence, it will no longer function effectively. However, the truth is that epigenetic processes inactivate these genes rather than losing them frequently as a result of mutations. On the other hand, every piece of the cell's genetic machinery requires substances from the mitochondria. There are at least 3 cumulative epigenetic changes on a larger scale. Although the names are a little confusing, simply keep the word acetylation in mind. Specifically, acetylation. Age plus aging equals negative. These worldwide consequences can help explain some of the telltale signs of aging. As we've already seen, however, epigenetics does have one advantage: it is reversible. We could, for instance, we can age ourselves by modifying our histones or removing or adding DNA methylation markers. So the question is, can aging actually be slowed down? Can we even stop the aging process? Early on, researchers discovered that certain animals' aging processes might be stopped by nutrition. Mice that have lived their entire lives on a particular diet typically live 35 to 65% longer. Also, it has been shown that other species, such as flies or worms, live longer when they fast. However, not invariably, small impacts have also been seen in monkeys. It is crucial too. It is observed that the delay of age-related disorders explains a portion of this phenomena of people living longer. Yes, but if it were the only explanation, I wouldn't have made this video. Diets can affect how quickly cells age. Some diets can lessen cell DNA damage, and fasting might boost mitochondrial activity. As a result, the cells appear to be somewhat younger overall. One of the main advantages: sirtuins can be produced as a result of dietary deficiencies brought on by some diets and fasting. Sirtuins are cellular proteins that actively alter the epigenetic environment. By erasing the histone acetylation signals, as you may recall, greater acetylation in our situation indicates that aging implies bad. Cells may get a little younger because sirtuins cause less acetylation. Additionally, it has been demonstrated that sirtuin overproduction in animals can be genetically induced. There is a longer lifespan as a result. Male mice lived 16 more years if sirtuin 6 was highly active. Of course, we cannot live off of nothing and do not wish to alter our genetic makeup. Therefore, scientists developed some clever concepts. It was discovered that the chemical NMN can increase the activity of the enzyme sirtuin 1. Then, this medication stopped the aging of mice. Histone alterations are affected by the medication remodelin. By administering remodelin to progeria patient cell lines, the epigenetic landscape appears more youthful in sickle cell disease because the cells appear to be younger. I don't want to endorse any medications right now, though. I believe that the relationship between human longevity and humans is a little more nuanced. So what else can we do? Diets that are low in fat and high in healthy foods. It may aid in preventing disorders associated with aging. As a result, our chance of developing diabetes or heart disease is lower. You can also try dietary elements like green tea, broccoli, sprouts, and soybeans because research has shown that these foods' bioactive substances have a good effect on the epigenetic makeup of malignancies. Additionally, there may be some anti-aging benefits. In regards to calorie restriction and intermittent fasting, as we have already discussed, males should consume whole foods, vegetables, and low-fat dairy products. I begin to resemble your parents. Did they have any knowledge? Exercise, in addition to diet, can alter our epigenetic environment and slow down the aging process. Physical exercise and a low body mass index were revealed to be linked to younger DNA in a study. Another intriguing study involved 6 months of training for senior participants. Their muscles were sampled both before and after the procedure. Over 600 genes were identified to have changed in activity over the course of the research. We can locate genes that are crucial to mitochondrial function in this list. Of course, it might also make sense given that healthy mitochondria are required for good exercise, but it might also be able to stop the aging process. On the other side, there are studies that suggest a connection between routine exercise and immune cells with longer telomere lengths. Exercise may therefore help us age more slowly while not making us healthier. So, keep it in mind the next time you engage in physical activity. Stress comes last, of course. Stress has an effect on more than just our daily lives, it can also affect how we age. Chronically stressed individuals live shorter lives. However, does stress shorten our lifetime if it is present all the time? Can less stress make it worse? Prostate cancer patients were required in a well-known trial to lower their stress levels by beginning yoga, joining a social support group, and taking daily walks. Both at the start of the trial and 5 years later, blood samples were obtained. Some age-related characteristics were discovered to be reversed. Most significantly, telomere length increased in all subjects. However, try not to worry that stress causes your cells to age because this will only make you more stressed. Stress can actually make your cells younger. Back to the story's beginning. The man enters his room in the retirement community. He examines his assortment of NFTs. He can't recall why a dog is shown on his digital currency, but a president must have issued it at some point. Now it doesn't matter. To meet his friends for a board game, he dons his virtual reality goggles. We've learned more and more about how cells age over the past few decades. There are numerous variables that could contribute to cellular aging, some of which are reversible. This suggests that aging could be stopped. But is it possible to stop aging and live forever? Most likely not, but we may be close to slowing down some signs of aging, which makes aging more bearable overall. I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. If so, there's actually a lot more on the subject. If you're interested in learning more about this kind of aging study, please let me know. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe and like this video if you'd like. Then perform all the other fantastic YouTube activities after clicking the bell. After that, I'll see you around. This video may interest you if you're interested in learning how nutrition affects aging. If you're interested in learning more about how we can activate genes and affect epigenetics in the lab, watch the video below.